Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Be Free Now with Maria. So today we're going to start out with my bag of words and see what I'm inspired to share. Okay, let's see. First word, anger. Let's see. Oh, I got two more. Okay. Oh, panic and distrust. All right, we're on a roll here. Anger, panic, and distrust. Let's see. Anger. Anger is making me think of an emotion, right? That it's a human emotion, right? It's something that we all feel, and it is part of, right, being human. A lot of times, we are uncomfortable with that emotion and we want to get rid of it. But the reality is that the anger is also trying to tell us something, right? That anger can be used to give us information. It can show us the way, right, to where this anger is originating from, so that we have the opportunity to be able to have a corrective experience. In other words, to address it and to be able to shift from it, right? So we could address it, we could deal with it, and then, be able to let it go, move on from it, right? Transform it so that it is no longer this intense energy that's overpowering us, taking us down, or creating conflicts in our relationships. So anger is not necessarily, the worst thing in the world, right? It can have its useful aspects to it and can really help us and guide us. And it is a natural human emotion. And the most important thing about it, right, is learning not only to understand it, right, and give it what it needs, but also to be gentle with ourselves and to be more loving with ourselves, even when we get angry, right? Loving that part of ourselves, because when we rebuke that part of ourselves, we are, it's like it's almost like cutting off an emotional limb. It's an emotion, right, that's part of the human experience, and we don't necessarily need to cut it off. We want to understand it. We want to address it. We don't want it to linger in an unhealthy way, and we surely don't want it to create, more intense negative, consequences for ourselves. But we do want to understand it and use it for that understanding, right? And then to be able to transform it. And the other word, panic, makes me think of whenever there is something that is emotionally or mentally too overwhelming for ourselves, right? We tend to feel panic-like, or to feel hopeless about something, or almost like we are, hostage to the situation, whatever it is, right? It's almost like, we don't see a way out of it. But the reality is, right, that everything we're going through is a moment in time. There's always another side to it. We just need to go through the steps and the stages and get to the other side. But when we're in that moment, in that deep, dark despair moment, right, we can't see, past that moment, right? Because we get so panicked about what is happening and so overwhelmed with what is happening that we forget, right, that there is another side and that we can get through this. So we want to practice something, right, that helps us anchor ourselves. And this is what comes to my mind, is what I like to do, which is, a nice, to have a nice spiritual practice. When I say nice, I mean consistent spiritual practice, because that is something that I use to ground myself and to bring myself back. And the reason why I like that practice, and there are a lot of other tools that we can use to ground ourselves, right? But the spiritual practice it just takes things to another level, right? It's more like helping us have an expanded view on life, as opposed to a narrow-minded view, or when I say narrow-minded, like just one that is consumed by the five senses. Because when we're consumed by the five senses and we forget, right, that spiritual side and aspect to life, then we get really tied up and we get stuck, So when we remind ourselves, or when we have a consistent spiritual practice with something to anchor ourselves with and to fall back on, right, that's more expansive, then we're able to include hope. And even if it's just for a moment, and maybe later on that day we may find ourselves again, right, feeling yucky, but then we can do it again and remind ourselves again, and then we carry ourselves, right, through the storm until we get to the other side. And we practice many other things, but we practice what we need to get through that moment until we get right to the other side. And the last word is distrust. When life appears to be, knocking us down, we can start to build, a certain level of distrust, right? We start to feel distrust about what is possible in the future and what good we can have, right? We start to doubt. We doubt ourselves, we doubt life, we doubt other people, and we become very distrustful. But the reality is, right, that is, a side effect of an experience. It's not truth. In other words, there is a lot of beauty in life, right? And there are a lot of positive things in life. And when we also approach it, from a spiritual perspective, we're able to see it. But when we are just solely focused on our five senses, then, it's easier to feel more distrust about the universe, right, and what is available to us. Now, there are people, right, that are going through, extreme situations and a sense of hopelessness, and great distrust, can happen. And at that moment, it sort of makes sense. But when we're able to pause, right, and question that, we open up, right, a window of an opportunity to see something else. And the reason why it's important to see something else than the heavy thing or the distrust that we're experiencing in that moment, or the panic and so forth, is because when we do that, we give ourselves an opportunity to shift. When we don't, we then just stay locked in. And being locked into such a heavy, yucky distrust isn't going to bring us out of it that much faster. It's going to keep us in it that much longer. And that's where we don't really want to hang out for too long, right? It's an experience that we want to grow from and shift from as soon as we're able to. So creating an opportunity for ourselves to be able to shift from that space is monumental, right? It changes everything for us, and it opens up more opportunities, emotionally speaking, right? And meaning that we're able to move from that space. So I'm going to end with that. I hope that this video helps you in some way. And before I end, I also want to announce that next Thursday, I start my shadow work workshop, and it is going to be 8 weeks long. We will be diving deep into our shadow side, but I'll also be supporting you in a spiritual journey to shift from the habit of getting locked in to experiences, and allowing those experiences then to be our only voice or our only mindset, in our lives, learning how to expand and break out of that cycle that is holding you back and weighing you down in some way. So this is about empowering you, creating a sacred space where we can make monumental changes over the next 8 weeks that will transform your life in some way. So if you're up for the challenge, I welcome you in, and I look forward to helping you in any way that I can. So thank you for watching this video. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.